Hi everybody, Patrick here from EngineeringShock.com, PaintballProps.com, and ElectronicLessons.com. What you're looking at right here is a voice changer kit. It's currently on Kickstarter in assembled form and in DIY form. You'll get a DIY kit if you check out the Kickstarter. This video is going to act as a video manual, and what I'm going to show you today is all of the different options you have when you work with this voice changer module. First of all, let's look at the accessories. 9-volt AC adapter. It's compatible with 120 to 240 volts AC in, 50 or 60 hertz, and you get a 9-volt 1 amp output. External microphone connector. You don't need to use it, but it's nice if you're using this in a costume. There is an onboard microphone. This is a stereo to stereo connector for the audio output if you wish to use computer speakers, a Bose player, or a boombox of sorts as the amplified output. And this is an external speaker connector which connects right here. So let's quickly look at the board before we look at some of the different options. Starting from the lower left hand side of the board, you've got two power options. If you have the AC to DC adapter, you can plug it in to power your device. If you want to use a battery or another power source, you can use the 2-pin terminal block here. There's 2 pins labeled V+ on the left. That's your positive supply voltage. You can use between 7.5 and 12 volts DC, and the right pin is your power supply ground. You can use both at the same time if you'd like. One is a battery backup. It's safe to use both power supplies at the same time, and the unit will draw power from the power supply that has a higher voltage. Completely safe to do. Now, let's talk about the upper corner here. We'll talk about 4 things here. This is your output volume variable resistor, labeled VOL, and you just have to, turn it with this a flathead screwdriver to change the level of the volume at the output. This is your speaker connector. If you're going to use the speaker as an audio output, simply plug it in. There's no orientation. A speaker is essentially just an 8-ohm coil of wire, or at least this one is. Now, there's a 3-pin header right here. Right now we've got the middle and right, from this perspective, pins jumped with a 2-pin jumper that will be included. And that means that we are selecting SP for speaker. So only when these 2 pins are shorted are we actually selecting the external speaker. If we take that off and we short the left and middle pins, we are selecting our audio output. And you take your audio to connect your audio output to your computer or your computer speakers or your boombox or whatever, your Bose player. You connect the audio output with one set and the other to your external audio amplifier / speaker set. This right here is your audio input. If you want to take a signal from your computer or even your MP3 player, you can plug it in here. Right here we choose between whether we're going to use the audio input or the microphone. So if I want it, there's another 3-pin header here. I'm hoping you could see it. It says MIC for microphone or SP for which is your internal your external input. So if I want to connect an external source of audio input, I would select the bottom and middle pin for SP. If I wanted to use my onboard microphone or my external microphone for the audio signal that will be transposed by the IC, I would select the middle and top pins for MIC, microphone. Now, right now, I've got my onboard microphone selected, but what if I wanted to use the much longer external microphone connector? You'll notice that the connector has a red wire and a black wire. There's a 2-pin header right here labeled M+ on the top and M- on the bottom. I want to connect my red wire to M+ and my black wire to M-, like so. Now I realize this might be a little bit difficult to see, but there's our last 3-pin header right here. On the right, there's a header a footprint labeled EX for external microphone, and on the left side, ON for onboard. So if I want to use the onboard microphone and not the external microphone, I can unplug my external microphone. I don't have to, and I just have to take that 2-pin jumper and short the left and middle pin for on. If I want to use the external microphone, I have to have that 2-pin jumper shorting the middle and right pins for EX, external microphone. You can have both plugged in at the same time if you'd like. There's no problem there. It's just another option. There are 2 variable resistors right here. Invol for input volume and FRQ for frequency. The input volume adjusts the level of the input volume so that there's never any clipping. Or if there is clipping, you can adjust the audio input so that the audio output is nice and clean. The FRQ variable resistor works with the IC so that you can transpose your voice at very different frequencies, meaning from a very high frequency or very low frequency. You'll see that in use in just a minute. Now let's talk about the jumper option. As you can see here, we've got ROB for robot, NRL for normal, SEL, S2, and S1. Robot voice, if I have a 2-pin jumper shorting robot, those 2 pins, I'm using a robot voice. In normal mode, NRL, if I have those 2 pins shorted with the jumper, the audio output matches the audio input, but you can adjust the volume slightly. It's an amplifier stage. It'll probably be the least amount. You'll probably use that the least amount. If I short SEL, this is my favorite mode. Sorry about that. If I short SEL, this is my favorite mode because you can use the FRQ variable resistor to manually select the frequency at which your voice is being transposed. We'll show you that in just a minute. Now, if you use 2 jumpers, you can select 4 different modes of operation between S1 and S2. It'll give you, using 2 jumpers, you can choose between 4 frequencies: really low, medium low, medium high, and high. And that will be offered. We'll go through those options a little bit later in the video. So first of all, let's hook it up and we'll connect the speaker and we'll connect the onboard. We'll set the onboard microphone, then we'll test the external microphone adapter. And from there we'll move on to connecting an external audio input and an audio output, say computer speakers. First, let's talk about the onboard microphone. So I've got my jumper selecting MIC in the upper right hand corner. I don't have my external microphone connected. You can have it connected, it doesn't matter, but in this case I'm not keeping it connected. And I'm going to take this 2-pin jumper and I'm going to select on versus X for external. Now I've selected my microphone, my onboard microphone, as my audio input that we're going to transpose with our voice changer. I'm going to take my speaker and I'm going to connect it to the SP pins, or SBK pins. So my speaker is now connected. As you can see right now, I've got my 2-pin jumper shorting EX for external. I don't want to use the external audio jack. I want to use my speaker, so I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to select the middle and lower pins from this respective SP. So right now I'm using my onboard microphone as my audio input and my speaker as my audio output. Now I just need to power it on and test it. The speaker isn't nearly as impressive as, say, a larger speaker set and audio amplifier like computer speakers, Bose player, boombox, but it's still a nice option to have, especially if you're going to be using it in a costume or something to that effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in. I've got it in cell mode so I can adjust the frequency using this FRQ variable resistor. I'm going to show off the modes of operation more when I connect to my computer speakers, but just to show you, I've got everything set up. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to bring the speaker close to the camera so you have no problem hearing it. Hello. Hi there. How are you doing? My name is Patrick. And I can also, it's picking me up, I can also up the output volume. Hello, 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 hello. Let's change things up. Say I want to put this into a costume, I want to put a microphone much closer to my face. I can use the external connector. I'm going to plug it in. Again, red wire to M+, black wire to M-, and I'm going to change my jumper from, I'm going to change my microphone select from onboard to external. simply remove that jumper. Sorry if I'm getting in the way of the camera. Now I'm ready to go. So now let's do the same test over again, but I can now use this. I should get the same quality too. I'm going to plug it in, bring the speaker closer to the camera. Hello, 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 hello. It's much nicer having this closer to my face. Let me change the frequency. Hello, 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 hello. Alright, so I don't want to use my speaker anymore. I want to use something a bit more impressive. I'm going to remove the speaker. I'm going to select X for external, and that will mean that we're going to use our audio output, and we'll feed that into our computer speakers. I'm going to use the microphone, the onboard microphone. I'm going to keep the configuration the same, but now instead of having a speaker output, I'm going to connect this to my computer, and we'll transpose my voice through my computer speakers, which will be much louder. All I have to do is power it up and plug this output into my computer speaker's audio input. You're not going to see the board here, but you'll hear the difference in volume. Let's try a higher frequency. I'll just quickly change the setting on the FRQ variable resistor when in cell mode.
Hello, my friends. How are you doing today?
Let's bring it back to a lower, not all the way low, let's bring it back to a lower frequency. And I'll say some creepy stuff.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So, what if we want to use an external signal from our MP3 player or our computer? We're going to want to use, I'm going to use the output from my computer. I'm going to take the stereo connector from my computer that was initially connected to my computer speakers, and I'm going to connect it in here. And in order to set it up for that, I'm going to change from MIC to SPK. And SPK means external input. So now I'm going to connect my audio output to my computer speakers. I'm going to take the stereo connector that was connected to from my computer to my speakers through here. So instead of having that signal from my computer go directly to my speakers, I'm putting it in here, messing with it, and bringing the output to my speakers. So I'm connecting the signal that's coming from my computer into the audio input. I've already made my jumper selections, so now all I have to do is connect the audio output to my speakers. And now I need to power it up. One thing to note before we move on is that the IC, the chip that does the business, is designed to change frequencies in the audio range, and not frequencies outside of the audio range. So you can plug in your favorite music if you like, and the voices of the vocalist will be changed, but the background music should stay more or less the same. Some of it might be transposed, but some of it should stay the same. We're not going to use music today. We're just going to use some funny YouTube clips, and we're going to use some text-to-voice emulators on the internet. You just have to Google text-to-voice, and there's a whole bunch that come up. So let's give it a try. Let's try a high frequency.
I like apples, I like pears, I like jumping down the stairs.
I like apples, I like pears, I like jumping down the stairs. Let's try low frequency. Make the adjustment on my FRQ variable resistor.
I like apples, I like pears, I like jumping down the stairs.
This is using a text-to-speech emulator. Again, there's tons of free ones. Just Google text-to-speech. Let's try another one.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Let's try a robot voice. This is a little bit harder to understand, but it's really, really neat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
One more.
Check out our Kickstarter campaign.
If you have NRL for normal selected, the audio output matches the audio input, but it's amplified slightly. You can't adjust it. It's just an amplified signal, so it's not going to be commonly used. But what about S1 and S2? as I mentioned before, if you have two jumpers, which are included, you can select a set frequency between low, very low, low, high, and very high. So let's try those out. Let's check out the set frequencies. For very low, place a 2-pin jumper over S2 only. Let's try a sample. For one step up in frequency, short S1 and S2.
Sample, 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 sample. Sample, 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 sample.
Another step up, this is high, next we'll do very high. For high, just short S1.
Sample, 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 sample. Sample, 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 sample.
And for very high, the highest, make sure none of the pins are shorted with jumpers.
Sample, 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 sample. Sample, 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 sample.
Now again, by shorting the SEL jumper, I can place the frequency at any range between very low and very high just by adjusting this variable resistor here. If you find the right song, this can be a lot of fun. I'm going to play a little bit of Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, and I'm going to bend it. As you can see, I've got the SEL pins shorted, and that means I'm going to be bending or transposing at different frequencies using this potentiometer, this variable resistor. So I'm going to play it right now. I've got it set right to the middle, so the song should actually sound like Wonderful Tonight, and then I'm going to start to bend it as you watch. So as you can see, doesn't sound very nice, but it's a lot of fun. What I was trying to yell in the middle was I was adjusting the input volume and the output volume. When I changed the input volume and brought the volume a little bit down, it sounded a little more clean and less clippy. And so that's your option. You can fiddle also while you're doing this with your input volume from here and your output volume to your, in this case, my computer speakers. But this FRQ variable resistor, that's what changes the volume. So it works much nicer when you're just transposing a voice, because again, this chip is only working with the frequency range of with the frequency range of your voice, and so again, that's my favorite mode. It's a lot more fun when you just use your voice, but you can really do some neat bending with music. So this is just an example. I think I've covered just about everything. Check out the Kickstarter campaign if you haven't already, and if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to send us messages through engineeringshock.com or through our Kickstarter campaign. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. The video was a little bit hurried, but I hopefully you got just a little bit of everything to give you an idea of what this board can be used for. Thanks again.